Darami Mogatari, Mogatari. You know, the future of this country is really great when you interact with school children. And you can really tell that they love going to schools. The school children, they're hungry for knowledge. But many are not as privileged as we were. For many, going to school means walking for 10 miles a day, or maybe riding on a boat and coming from the remotest area, or maybe simply having to trade off between work and study, which ultimately leads to many of them being dropped out of school. For people like them, the Grameenphone online school program is a blessing. This is a great example of how digital connectivity can transform lives, how it can empower a society. This shows that mobile and digital communication, they have a role to play in accelerating of the country and of the world. For ideas like this, Telenor Group has created a platform for young people, which is more than a competition. A platform where groundbreaking ideas will come to light and will also be nurtured. A platform called Telenor Youth Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grand finale of Telenor Youth Forum 2015. And I am Zunaid Rabbani. I'll be the host for this evening. This is the third consecutive year the Telenor Group has launched Talking the Talk. It's also about walking the walk, which means the forum would give the opportunity to young people to create an impact, not by only in a business competition, but also by creating an impact by implementing those ideas in real life. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year's Telenor Youth Forum is knowledge for all. And if you want to have an inner meaning of knowledge for all, let me just stop right there and let's enjoy this performance. Connect, share, transform. These are the underlying messages of ensuring knowledge for all. Telenor Youth Forum calls for young people to come together, again, to connect, share, and transform the lives of people around us, to be able to make social, economic, and environmental changes by using the power of digital communication and ensuring internet for all. This time, we have received more than 300 applications, and the journey to the grand finale, where 7 finalists were selected in multiple phases and stages, was certainly a hectic one, yet an exciting one. So here,
Wow, that was brilliant. It was immediate in experience of a lifetime.
This is the first time we're going to do this, but within this time as it has happened in Telenor Youth Summit, and it has transformed into a new shape that Telenor Youth Forum.
An idea can transform the millions of lives which comes from knowledge. I personally want this kind of new idea should come from this stage which will transform Bangladesh.
Our Telenor Youth Forum, this is where we expect that you will be coming up with your ideas, and which will help us to support the idea knowledge for all.
I think access to information and access to knowledge ranks among the highest priorities. And to me, this translates directly into the next generation of clever Bangladeshis. And this is why I'm really happy that the theme for this year, Telenor Youth Forum, is knowledge for all. Please take this chance and go beyond.
Telenor Youth Forum, Bangladesh they are important. We think this is a brilliant initiative.
আইডিয়াগুলো কিভাবে আপনারা পিক আপ করবেন?
100টা আইডিয়া থেকে নামিয়ে নিয়ে আসবো 30টা বেস্ট আইডিয়া।
ওদের ভিডিওটি খুব চ্যালেঞ্জিং ছিল যে পুরো বাংলাদেশের মধ্যে 2টি সেরা আইডিয়া হওয়ার।
সবাই ওপেন করে দেখেছি যে আইডিয়াগুলো কোথা থেকে আসছে।
At first, I was very nervous, but then as I started, I was feeling empowered. First of all, I started with a story which attracted my judges, and they have been, at the end of the presentation, very attentive, and they have been asking me a few questions. I answered perfectly. Let's see what happens.
Thing that hit me the most is the fact that being students, first year students, there is this gap between our imagination of the corporate world and how the corporate world actually is. So this was actually a wonderful opportunity for us to actually explore what happens inside a corporate setting. This or not, this program is alive, and this is a panel of young minds that can truly drive a meaningful change for this country, and that's what matters to me. I'm a part of this.
All good things must come to an end. It might seem that we are coming to the end of the program with the grand finale, but in fact, this is the beginning. Beginning of a long journey, beginning of a dialogue. For surely their achievement does not end here. At least one of the winners, or maybe the top 3 winners from Bangladesh, will get to visit Oslo. They will have the opportunity to attend a 3-day conference where young people would come together to interact, to discuss, and to explore the transformative power of mobile and digital communication. They would also get the lifetime opportunity to witness the Nobel Peace Prize giving ceremony firsthand, along with the historic concert. But the icing on the cake, and that's something that fascinated me the most, is a chance to be at the global stage, to meet the global thought leaders up front and in person, along with other digital thinkers, young achievers and shapers of around the world, to be able to talk to them about ideas, about their experiences, to learn from them, to bring those ideas, those knowledge, those best practices to Bangladesh and to implement them. And that is when you achieve what they're destined to do, which is to transform lives. And before I get any carried away by any other emotion, let me just call the participants. Let us get introduced to some of the brightest minds of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 7 finalists of today. First, we have Hassan Manna Munha from IBA. Besides being a full-time student, he's a vocalist of a heavy metal band. Next we have Abreshmi Adiba Hawk. She's also from IBA. Another student from IBA, and she's a big-time Harry Potter fan. The third participant is Shabab Rahman. Shabab Rahman is from IB Dhaka University. He's a fan of DC Comics, and his favorite character is the Flash. After Shabab, we have Muhammad Samit Razak from North South University. He's a guitarist of a rock band, and he claims he can play the November Rain better than the Flash. The fifth contestant is Muhammad Zakaria Haider from Buet. He likes designing robots and wants his own bumblebee. So I'll probably see you in Transformer 5. Next, do we have Saim Farooq with us? Wonderful. Saim Farooq is from IB Dhaka University. He ran a half marathon last year and is preparing for another half marathon this year. I might see you there, Saim. And our last participant, and thank God it's a female participant because we got to make the gender ratio look nice, is Sadia Afrin bint Azad from Brack University. She's a big fan of Arsenal Football Club. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 7 finalists of today. Give it up for them. The contestants, go and work on your last minute preparation. I'll call you when it's time. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to request the CEO of Grameenphone, Mr. Rajiv Shetty, to come on stage and share his thoughts with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rajiv Shetty.
Thank you and good evening. First of all, let me start by welcoming the Honorable Education Minister, Mr. Nurul Islam Nahid, Her Excellency, the Royal Norwegian Ambassador Merit Lundemo, and my young colleagues and even younger students. Thank you for coming over and welcome here. I had a speech which I had prepared. And I don't think this is an occasion for formal speeches, so I'll keep it back in my pocket. I'll speak straight from the heart because that's what youth is all about. And I'll try and behave like a young person today. Today is all about the favorite group of people which all of us have. The group of people which is closest to our hearts, which is the youth. So it's all about you today. Before I get into the Telenor Youth Forum, I would start with a reflection about what we did a few days back. Telenor Group celebrates something which we call Customer First Day, which happened on 8th of October, where all across the globe, across 13 different countries, all of us went out, met our customers, spoke to them, understood their pain points, their problems, things which we could do better, basically to generate some insights from our customers. I also went out with very young colleagues from my organization. And met young people. And those 3 hours which we spent with those young guys and girls was extremely rewarding. The biggest take home for me was that future of Bangladesh is in very capable hands. The aspirations of these people, of these youth, of these young people, the way they think about the future, the way they think about the problems which this country is facing, or rather the opportunities which this country has, was amazing. And some of you who work for GP would have also read reflections of one of our Norwegian colleagues. He's a chief strategy officer. He wrote a column a few days back when he completed 2 years in Bangladesh. The core of that was that, according to him, a Norwegian who spent most of his time in the western part of the world, there is hardly any difference between youth of Bangladesh versus, say, youth of Norway or any other such European country. I agree with him, but I also disagree with him a bit. Because what I have seen here is, given the challenges, given the opportunities which are there in this country, I think that willingness, that ambition, that drive, that passion to do something more, to solve the problems of this country, is much stronger in this part of the world as compared to potentially the western part of the world. Couple that with the digital revolution which this country is going through. We're at the cusp of a big digital revolution. Put all of this together. Youth, which are aspirational, opportunities on education, in agriculture, in sanitation, in security, so many of such opportunities, and the digital revolution which is happening here. This is such a potent combination. And I must say to all of you young people here, that you're extremely lucky to be born at this time. You're extremely lucky to be studying in colleges at this point of time. You're extremely lucky to be in Bangladesh at this point of time. So take this opportunity, move forward, solve the problems of this country, create new businesses, create new ideas, create new thoughts. I, for one, consider myself extremely privileged to work for a company which takes pride in developing the countries which you are working in. It's an honor for us to really empower the youth of this country to solve the problems of this country. And Telenor Youth Forum is one of the platforms which we provide to you. It's here, as the host said, you get a platform which is global in nature, where you work with, share your ideas, share your thoughts with the best brains in the world, showcase your thoughts there, compete with them, exchange ideas. So make the best use of it. And to the 7 finalists here, all the best for the day today. There would be 3 winners, but that's not the end of the world. This is just a step in the right direction. We'll do more of this in future. There will be another youth forum next year. And as GP, I think we take a huge amount of pride and a sense of responsibility to be able to provide these opportunities to a larger set of audience. So all the best for today, and looking forward to a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Rajiv Shetty, for your words. I'm sure what you said will be a moral booster for our participants. And this also underlines the commitment of Grameenphone to empower the young people of this country. Next, may I now please call upon Mr. Nurul Islam Nahid, Honorable Education Minister, Ministry of Bangladesh, to take the stage and say a few words. Sir.
Good evening, and Assalamu alaikum. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Grameenphone authorities and the participants, I express my congratulations to all of you for arranging such an excellent program, and it is really appreciable and encouraging for our youths. I myself is really honored and very glad to be here with you, and you have already passed over many stages of competitions, and now we have 7 finalists. They will be here. And through competitions, the best will be chosen and they will go for the world competition. This is a very good news for our young people. And I think this competition will encourage our new generations to learn more, to be encouraged to participate in such events. I thank Grameenphone for inviting me and for arranging such organizations. It is really a great honor for me to be here with you. And you all know that our aim of education is to prepare our new generation to be the builders of the modern Bangladesh. You all know that we have a vision that is Vision 2021 to achieve a goal that to be so we need to prepare our young generation with world standard education, knowledge, and technology and skill. This is one of the very important event which will help us, our young generation, to prepare themselves with world standard education competitions of such type. So they are preparing to take part in the final competition in the world level. So I think this is a very encouraging and appreciating for our young people. So I did not take much of your time. I'm really glad and honored to be here. I just want to say to our young participants, they are already selected for the final competitions. So I congratulate them, and this is really a success that they nationally they have become the champions, and now I think about 3 will be chosen for sending them to Norway for a final competition. This iGenius or something like that, this competition. And previously we had a competition, only one girl who could be selected, and she went there. This time, I hope that our students, those who have come up to this and will go to Norway for the final competition, they will have some better performance, and I think they will come with successes to our country back. I wish them all success, and thank you very much, Grameenphone, for your arrangements and for this excellent performance of this Grameenphone in various fields that you are organizing, which help our education, our students for educating, for learning many things. So for that, we are grateful to you. We hope that you will continue your support to our students for competitions and performing such events. So thank you very much. We wish all our competitors success, and thank Grameenphone and all the participants here. Thank you, Your Excellency, and all the ladies and gentlemen present here. Thank you very much. All the best. Good night.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your encouraging words. Your presence shows us how important it is to you and to government of Bangladesh to have the young Bangladeshis step up to their plate to make a true digital Bangladesh. Thank you so much for your presence and for your kind words. Last but not the least, we have the Ambassador of Norway to Bangladesh, Ms. Merete, among us. I'd like to request Her Excellency to come on stage and say a few words. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Merete.
Honorable Minister, dear CEO, friends from Telenor, Grameenphone, young people I see here, young students and young people of Bangladesh. I'm very happy to be here together with you today. Bangladesh is a young country. It has a young population. It's also a very dynamic country with a very dynamic population. Norway is happy to be a friend and a collaborator with. I would like to say a few words to all the young people I see here today. I'm sure that you have been tomorrow. I say that you are the generation of today. There's nothing to wait for. Your generation has got the creativity, you have got the ability to see far, to keep open minds, and to look ahead. And those are qualities that are going to add to the development of your country. Now, there is a lot of opportunities out there for you. There is also a lot of responsibility that this generation has to shoulder. To spread knowledge is one of them. All of you here, you have used connectivity, communication, internet, in order to get where you are today. It is so important that everybody work together to extend these opportunities to everybody. To women, to men, to the rich and to the poor. That way everybody can contribute and everybody can win. The excellent young people you saw up here just a moment ago, they didn't just happen. And they are not. There are many champions out there among you. And there is a lot of work for all of them. People are representatives of, and they are going to show us the creativity and the ability to look forward. That is the hallmark of the young generation of this young country. I am looking so much forward to spending this evening with you, and I'm very excited to see what your young colleagues have got up the sleeve for us. This is going to be a lovely evening, and I'm very happy that I get to spend it with you. Thank you so much. Shobajke Domalabad.
Thank you, Her Excellency, for your time and for your kind words. So now we can start the contest. But before I call out the names of the participants, let me introduce you to the judges. Now, to evaluate these brightest minds and smartest people, we had to assemble an elite panel of judges, and we certainly have one. And as I call upon their name, I'd request them to take the chairs in the judges panel. First, we have Ms. Merete, Honorable Ambassador of Norway to Bangladesh. A round of applause, please. Next, we have Fayez Tahir, entrepreneur, investor, CEO of Fortuna Group and SD Asia. And finally, our very own Mohammad Shariful Islam, Chief HR Officer of Grameenphone Limited. So are you ready? Can I get a yes? Loud. We have 7 finalists here with us today. Each of them would come on stage and would present their ideas through a presentation. Time for them is 10 minutes, with an added 5 minutes for a question and answer session. At the end of 7th minute, there will be a warning, so everybody knows when to wrap up. And once all of them are done, our elite panel of judges will select the top 3 winners from Bangladesh. So without any further ado, please welcome the first contestant of this evening.
My project here is Dance Cap. It's a video content providing platform that sort of tries to cater to the pre and early teens of a developing country like Bangladesh. And I hope my project can achieve this far-reaching social impact, and I hope I can woo you with whatever I do today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hassan Munna Manna from IBA Dhaka University. Hassan, before you start, let me ask you a question, and I can promise you that you'll not be judged by the judges on that.
Sure.
You said you're a vocalist of a heavy metal band?
Yeah,
Do you know that Norway is the place to be then?
I do. I'm a big fan of Norwegian metal.
Wonderful. And I'm pretty much sure that they probably would not play heavy metal music during the prize-giving ceremony. But if you win it, and if you can manage some time, go to a Norwegian heavy metal concert.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much sure you'll love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck. Good luck with your presentation.
Pikachu. It's a play on phrase because, for one, I'm a big fan of puns, and two, this sort of explains everything that I'm going to be talking about today. Well, I'll begin with a little story. You brought up in a borderline conservative, while on the one, I've always been afforded a lot of freedom when it comes to my decisions regarding formal education, and was allowed to delve into a little bit of literature as well. You know, the more taboo, unacceptable things that exist in society was not something I would communicate with my family. Say, things like sex, and things like drugs, and puberty, and gender roles. These sort of things were always off the table. So when, at the age of 12, I first discovered masturbation, it was an overwhelming experience. Because, for one, the changes that were happening to my body were very overwhelming, and two, I couldn't really find anyone I could communicate this with. So, you know, it was a quagmire of confusion, and this confusion reached a height when at one point I started believing that I was a lizard, because the stuff that was coming out of my body and, you know, was white, and lizard blood is white as well. So at one point I started believing that I was a lizard. That's the sort of confusion that all of this caused. And I sort of felt like this little kid sitting on the corner of the classroom wearing a dance cap. I did not know what I was doing wrong. I did not know what was going wrong. All I knew was that I was being misunderstood and penalized and often punished for things I had no idea about. So, you see, to add to the conservative stance of society, we have the overinflated portrayal of sex by the mainstream media, and we have pornography. So what we have is our situation. We don't really know what we're doing to our youth. We don't really know how they're going to grow up to be. And, you know, you start thinking, what can you do about this? And, well, what I think I can do about this is inject a little dosage of goodness in the form of good old awareness. And that's where my project comes in, DanceCap. It's a non-profit video content providing project where we'll be making all these videos, creating awareness about the things that I just talked about, and providing it to partners for them to publish from their platforms. The content will be separate, a separate series of videos, one for children, which will be one directly aimed at them, which is going to be relatable, which is going to be fun, which is going to tell them about all these things. And the second one is going to be directed at parents to help them communicate these sort of things with their children. And it's going to be taking a more scientific and explanatory approach. A sample storyboard, since I don't really have a sample video right now. How we're going to do it, we're going to first show a couple of myths that exist about, say, reproduction. We're going to show with stop motion animation things like a bird carrying a baby on a pouch and dropping him or her on his mother's lap, or a baby just magically and randomly dropping off of the sky straight into his mother's lap. And we're going to tell them, hey, that's not how it works. How it works is two people coming together to make love, and then this amazing, amazing biological process taking place, and after that, that's you. That's how you really come to this world. What we aim to do with this is eliminate all this fantasize, misconceptions that exist about reproduction and give our children a more practical and positive outlook on life. Okay, the demographics. We're going to be targeting children or plus who are both going to be parents and siblings, like older brothers and siblings to our target children. Primarily urban consumer base, primarily middle and upper class, and a little tech savvy to go with it. And the psychographic is going to be lizard children. Okay, the distribution method is going to be that we're going to take our product to all these information disseminating platforms or companies who would then, cater it to their target, their own demographic, which sort of coincidentally matches with our target demographic, like Daily Star, Prothaman.com, and 10 Minute School. We're just going to take our ideas to them, pitch it to them, and hope that they pick it up and publish it to their, platform. Okay, marketing is going to be B2B. So a little summation of the whole process. We develop the content, we our partners, and they then publish it as their own content. Okay, now here's an interesting question. By targeting the middle and the upper classes, aren't we saying that we're planning to impart knowledge for some? Slogan of Telenor Youth Forum 2015 is knowledge for all. Well, you see, kind of true. The main struggle that takes place in society is not regarding these things is not really in the middle or the upper classes, more in the lower classes. But then again, when you realistically think about it, the technological shortcomings that this class has does actually prevent us from taking our product to them and showing them whatever we want to tell them. Well, that's where the carom effect comes in. It's where the cue ball hits technical glitches. One ball which then hits another ball to get to a target destination, to project a target trajectory. Okay, what happens is that while we assume that people from the same class, what happens in reality is that some people, let's say from the upper class, mixed with some people from the middle class. Okay, one second, technical difficulties. They were supposed to be sideways. Okay, and then, like mixing together, they sort of talk about the things they learn from their own classes, and then they take it to their own classes. Say an upper class child talks to someone from the middle class, and the middle from their own class. This happens through a process where our target consumer, the target child, talks to their classmates and friends and siblings and cousins and parents, and in that way disseminate this information among all the classes and triggers a sort of a trickling down of effects. Okay, so moving on to the financials. It's going to be strictly non-profit because, for one, it's strictly personal and something I want to be strictly for social outcomes. I don't really want to go through all the hassles of making it a profit-making business and lose our focus on developing quality content. But we do have to remember the reality of scaling, and with that, what we'll be doing is charging our partners a minimum meager sum, which will then be plowing back to the business to make it self-sustainable. Okay, in summation, what we are planning to do with DanceCap is to tell all these millions and billions of lizard children out there suffering from a sort of confusion and anger and complete misunderstanding, simply a mess, and feeling like they're languishing in the middle of nowhere. What we want to do with DanceCap is tell them that with proper guidance and some help, nowhere is basically just now and here. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Hassan. Thank you for taking us through this presentation. I think it's time for questions now. And I have a few. Let us start with the target group. I saw that there was a gap between 15 and 21. Is that not an age where many people marry and where a lot happens in their life also on the reproductive front?
Yeah, well, what the aim was for, we'd be making content for two separate demographics, one for children of 10 to 15 years old and one for people who are 21 plus, because we feel like this intermediary age of 15 to 21 is where people start figuring these things out. So what we aim to do is, for one, tell this, children of 10 to 15 how it works, and then pass the responsibility on to people 21 and upwards to disseminate to children of their own families.
Hello? Couple of questions I have for you. One is, what makes you so sure that just taking this video to distributors, they will just take it? Like, what's their value?
Well, the value is primarily going to lie into the quality of the content we're going to develop, because as we know, mentioned here, the people we want to partner up with do have a knack for quality. So, and they do have a knack for content as well. So I believe that if we can take enough quality contents to them, they will find value in our stuff. And not to mention how cheaply priced it will be as well.
Says content in the form of, is there a way, is it going to be like a cartoon? Is it going to be like real life acting? Like what is it going to be?
Yeah, sorry for that. Since the preparation time was pretty short, I couldn't come up with a sample video. We're going to do this on a more stop motion animation basis, where we make it cartoonish, so it's fun and it's relatable, and even for the parents, so it's simple enough for them to not focus on the visual stimulation and get to focus on what's being said.
And last question, what makes you think this is the idea to go to Norway?
Well, that's a little difficult to answer, because for one, I don't think it is something as grand as you would expect in a stage like this. But at the same time, I believe that oftentimes the littlest of ideas can be the grandest, and which I want to, that's the thing I want to make out of my project. It's like a combination of simple psychological necessities and a combination of very primary technology that we can develop and take to children out there, not just in Bangladesh and the globe, which is currently suffering from this very what do you call it, sort of a hedonistic way of thinking overall. So I believe that while maybe technologically it's not up there in Norway standards, but if we're talking about simply catering to people's needs, I think this could very well be it.
Hi. I must say that we should appreciate your boldness in the way you presented this and the way you started. Took us a bit by surprise, but thank you for showing that courage. What I was thinking is, you mentioned you wanted to connect, to bring up a topic which is quite in a mature context. What do you see when you're going out with your fresh, bold idea and you're trying to convince an audience that you need to understand this, where in our country's context it's still a taboo, right? And probably it's not just physiological, it's also psychological areas that you would like to address. What kind of barriers do you see, and how do you hope to overcome them?
Well, to be honest, there is